Hey gang, it's Saturday morning, it's a day off, and this is just a prelude to the little video I shot yesterday in the hot sun. We figured out how to shut me up and not go into too much detail. You just put me in the fucking hot sun trying to rig a Manitou, and I'm like, I lose the ability to go into all the details I would really like to mention, but it's a short 8-minute just overview of how to make a simple pulling engine mounted on a Manitou. Now, it doesn't take into account a lot of the other stuff I would like to mention, like avoiding hydraulic lines, avoiding sharp objects, avoiding sharp edges, all the stuff that should be common sense, but since common sense is something that's not so common anymore, these are all caveats to the quickie I did yesterday. I'm sitting here on the safety of my balcony away from the touristville on this day before it gets too hot and sunny. And Stunt Rigging Toolbox talks have been a little bit sparse in the last couple of months due to work constrictions. I can't really do shit for free and break a lot of expensive shit when I'm busy working to pay for it all in the first place. So we haven't put out a lot of stuff, plus the redundancies have been a drag. I don't want to get into repeating too much of the same material. But because I've seen so many glaring examples of really shit Manitou rigging, I decided since I was rigging a simple ratcheting pulling engine and base station on a Manitou, I'd just do a quick overview of it. Now realize that you can get much more complicated with this. It doesn't have to just be a ratchet. I could have put pieces of truss on to accommodate greater service loops rather than 3 meters in each direction, which is all I required on this one. With the service loop, I could have done a lot of other things. I could have mounted it in reverse to give myself a little more distance on the take-ups. There's ways around this, but for a down and dirty, get it done, mobile pulling station, I just wanted to show you, because the hole across the feet, nail it to the ground, tie it to the legs, all of that's just a bullshit way of occupying time. I mean, when I set up stations for larger events, we'll have one Manitou as strictly truss, and I'll bounce it to a second Manitou, which goes to an operating. And what we do then is, that way with two, you can operate directly below your truss and put it at 10 or 12 meters like a stage, and it gives you a lot more room to operate. And then you do pin a piece to the ground in front of the legs, so you can operate nicely. But it's all bounced to the crane arm, i.e. the Manitou. Now, this Manitou is just an 18-meter Manitou. You can get them up to 27 meters, 30 meters. So you have to know, the main thing is your Manitou, your requirements. You have to pay attention to Manitou load limits, loading angles, some things to always remember, especially with the new ones, and especially if you're using roto Manitous, the safety interlocks, because if they can't sense the safeties are in the right place, you're fucked. You won't be able to move them, you won't be able to put the legs up, put the legs down, all of a sudden you're locked out and you can't figure out why. So each little thing you do along the way, you need to test and know. Having done this enough, I know where the interlocks are on most models and what they do, but you really have to pay attention. Like when you mount the ram on the truss in the middle, you can only come down so far, so you need to make sure it's far enough so you don't crush the device in the middle. You need to come down enough to be able to get the interlock to do it, so it'll allow the legs to go up and down and the boom to go in and out, because if it's too high, you can't do either of those things, so it defeats that purpose. Secondarily, you have to watch out for all the operating functions of the Manitou. Don't tie something to the head where the head is strapped back, and then you need to tilt it, because you will fuck your truss or blow ratchet straps. How do I know that? Don't ask. It's happened in countries all around the world. When I ask people to do this and they don't pay attention. So I bypassed a lot of that because, number one, it's not the end all and be all of Manitou rigging, this little blurb 8 minutes out in the middle of the hot sun. It was just to give you an idea of how to make something that's easy, straightforward, and you can be mobile with it. That's the main thing. And in this instance, mobile is where it's at. So we observe loading limits, we observe design factors. I mean, when you look at the truss I'm using, I could have on a third point had multiple tons at that point. So the leverage factor that I mentioned on there on the nose of that truss is not a big deal. Of course, if there's more, you take mitigating actions, i.e. triangulations. So I kind of skimmed over a lot of it because, as I say, nothing is worse than putting a Sasquatch in the sun and trying to talk about shit, because I just am like melting in the sun and it's a dust bowl. But that's it. It's just a quick overview of the simplest form. you can always expand on this form, and it's very easy to expand on the form because you have a truss there. You can grapple stuff to it, you can corner block stuff to it, you can get as elaborate as you wish, as long as you observe the basic rules of avoiding your interlocks, not messing, crushing, bending anything, and observe what you're doing, especially your angles of pull on the Manitou. Otherwise you fight bounce, especially when you're talking 27 meters. You need to come back along the boom so your initial pulls are pulling at a stronger point, not at the tip. Otherwise you end up with a mess because the boom's bouncing, and then of course if it's a heavy pull you have to time it with the bounce, and you have a delay factor. All these things play in. But this is just a prelude to show you that this was just a quickie so that you can get some basic understanding, because it was just a way of showing, a way of creating a pulling engine in a quick, easy format. So hope you enjoy it. Stunt Rigging Toolbox Talks number God knows what. I think we're at 46 or something now, who knows. Since I'm building one, we'll be doing a tuning fork one once I'm back to the shop. But for the next few weeks, I'm here doing ratchet pulls and descender drops off of Manitous in a hot and sunny location, which is not optimal because it's no fun standing in the sun. But you do what you got to do. So that's all we're saying. It's Saturday off. Hope you enjoyed it. It's done with my normal aplomb. Here I am on a balcony with no tripod, no buttons, so you don't have to watch me fumble with technology, because I so don't give a fuck about video technology. And we shot the one yesterday with a human tripod, which I don't usually have the luxury of. Usually it's just me shooting them, and nobody can follow along or do anything with them. So it's kind of nice having that. One of my partners in crime there, one of my performers and co-riggers. So it was fun. We fucked around, we had fun. And the job went well. We got through it, and it was quick. You have to pull it in, screens go up, do it, and then they have to get out for the next shot. So it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Okay, so that's it. Stunt Rigging Toolbox Talk ad nauseum on a sunny Saturday. And that's it, folks. Enjoy. I hope when we smash cut to the talk, you're not totally bored. And thank you to all you people that watch this shit, because I never thought people would bother. But I haven't had any negative response, because obviously the people who are negative don't search out knowledge. And those of you who do search out knowledge find this, and it's empirically backed. And we don't do the wives' tales and this is how we do it crap. So you understand our concept, and we're just going to keep it up. It entertains me. So here we are. Have a good day. It's a wonderful Saturday, and enjoy the video. All right? Bye. Okay, so we're doing another Stunt Rigging Toolbox Talk. I haven't done any in a while because I've been A, very busy, B, a lazy fucker, and I make no money doing these, so sometimes I lose my motivation. So I'm doing this one from an ND shithole dust bowl in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea somewhere, and we're rigging a Manitou today. So I thought I'd just use this as a Manitou operational thing. So what we've got is, we've got a ratchet mounted on a piece of truss as a base station that's shoved up the middle of a Manitou. We have it anchored through the top plates to the chassis. You don't just anchor it to the top plates, okay? I make these. This is not my setup. This is someone who I've made pieces for. This is just a turnaround plate. So we take the pulling, we go to a sheave that's in the middle of the boom. So when the Manitou is at its peak, this sheave is directly above the ram or slightly behind the end of the ram. Basically, you're trying to pull the Manitou in its strongest position. It ain't going anywhere. Rather than running it out to the end of your boom where you're pulling at the end of a lever arm so you get bounce. This way you avoid the bounce. You redirect to the middle of the boom at the first stanchion. It ain't moving shit, okay? As far as this goes, it's a base station. It's 10,000 pounds. You really are pretty well sorted out in terms of anchors and ballast. Feet go down, and a thing I'm gonna mention on the feet, you don't need to put these fuckers in outer space. You put the feet down, you don't need to jack the wheels a meter off the ground. You get them leveled, you keep them close to the ground, the weight's on the feet, that's it. Don't need to stick them in the air, okay? So what we have is, we have our ram, we're on a 1 to 2. Please don't say it's 2 to 1, it's 1 to 2. It's a reverse reeve. That means for every distance that the stroke pulls back, 2 lengths of rope pull. We have tech as our leader going to the performer, and for our clutch, for our pull, our shivs here, we're using Twin Runner Technora jacketed Dyneema 99, okay? So we transfer here so that we have a service loop we can take up. And because I'm a lazy old fuck and all this is up here, if this is here, how do you plan on doing take up? We've put a reroute on a shiv so I can stand down here and pull on it, and I can do my take ups here. So that it's just nice and easy. So we make life easy, okay? So this is the setup. It's ratchet strapped down to the chassis underneath. It involves the one dirty section is climbing under this and getting around real steel. And these things don't lack for real steel, but you got to watch out for hydraulic lines, etc. And remember, we do it this way, as opposed to a lot of guys will put the feet down and put it across the front. Dude, I just drive this in place, throw the feet down, run the boom out, yank the person, put it all down, and drive away. Done. It's a mobile crane station. It'll go anywhere, do anything. Okay, the only thing you can pay attention to is the amount of overhang you have here, okay, and what loads you're pulling. Now this is tied down here to the chassis. If this was a bigger load, we're 100 kilo max on this, with what we're doing on 7 bar, which is 105 PSI. If you calculate with this ram, you're looking at about 750 pounds of force, technically, mathematically corrected, but it's on a 1-to-2 reverse, which means you split it because you're on 2 lines. So each one's seeing 350 pounds, which is about 150 kilos of force. So there's no strain on this whatsoever. If it was more, I might bring it from a point out here and triangulate it under the front chassis or even here to keep the leverage point a lesser distance. Because if you look at this and we're tied to the chassis here, basically what we have is that's a third point of this truss. So it's the same if it's tied here and pulling up as if we hung it at both ends and we're pulling down at the third point. So it's an overhung load. So you just do the math. And on this, it's nowhere near working load limit or even close. We have a very high design factor on this. Like I said, if I was worried about it, I would come from out here down. Or I would have 2 lines that when the feet were dropped, I would bring them down so we could triangulate the end and take some of the overhung load off of these. Not really needed in this case, just because a ratchet's such a momentary thing. So you just have to look at your geometry. It makes no sense, again, if you're an 18-meter boom, you have a pulley here, why would you come down to your thing here and pull on this? It's a big, wiggly, fucked up, bouncy thing. So you're gonna lose a lot of shit out here. But if you take this and come down to here, your boom is now 6 meters long, 5 meters long. It's directly above you, and it happens to be a giant chunk of the cross section of the Manitou, and you're trying to pull it in the way that the cylinders are all locked. You're not taking metal and doing this, you're doing this, and it's not gonna move. So your force is transmitted. This is a simple redirect to your pull point. So you don't have as much boom, bounce. It reacts better. So that's why we do it this way. We help it. And some Manitous, every Manitou is different. These have a little slot, so we bridled from both sides on the boom. Some of them have, the older ones have bolts on the side that we pull out and put hangers in. But you find a spot and you hook it back there because it gives you stability. It may look a little funky. Everybody's like, oh, nothing's flat, nothing's level. I don't give a shit. I could stand this thing up vertically. I don't care if it's flat or level. It's a machine. It's a pulling engine. It does not matter. The box is in a Pelly box. It's sitting on the motor cover. Yeah, it's a little bit of an angle, but it's all strapped down. It's not going anywhere. And it means that the accumulator, the tank, everything's in one place. It's nice and easy. I can drive this around all day. And I can operate. I just climb my fat ass up and sit on the fender and watch it from a slightly elevated position. So this is a basic Manitou setup instead of all the silly other ways people do it. This is a really simple, really easy, drive into place, run the line out, ratchet them, boom it down, run away. You can do this all day. And it doesn't require just your logbook. Okay, we had them 15 meters from the pull point. The boom was at whatever degree angle so that you have this much line. The pull is this many bar. You just replicate it every time. And you're not reliant on a ground station and time and effort. Just drive it in, put the feet down, boom it out, and away you go. I mean, literally, this is all I have to do is go to location, put this up, and take this to my performer. And it's all set. If things are different, maybe they want it a little farther, a little less. You have a giant service loop here. You have a take-up. So the boom is 6 meters in the air where I'm attached to. So I have 3 meters in both directions to play with. You can either go 3 meters that way or 3 meters this way. And if it's a problem, I can just always change this. So you've got many options here that makes life really easy. Always remember when you do this, never lock the front head of your ram down. Don't lock your cylinder down. They have to orient. They're a pulling machine. They pull A to B. Both pulleys have to come together. So if it's at a weird angle, it may look funky, but just let them arrange themselves. If you tighten that head of that ram down, it will bend this rod because it needs to be under tension and orient. So just leave it be. It's not going anywhere, especially since it's the same plates I use that I built for the back. It's on an 80,000 pound aircraft pin, and it's locked. So it's done, and it's a simple setup, and it's a simple takedown. And it gives you a lot of variability. On some shows like Angel, had 4 of these set up this way. We had people ratcheting in every scene in multiple directions. Just drive them, put them in the direction you want, bup, 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 bup. Next scene, bup, 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 bup. It's easy. And these become very viable. So that's today's quickie on Manitou Rigging. And we're coming to you from an ND shithole limestone block fort in the middle of nowhere where it's dusty and ugly and hot. So just thought I'd go over a few things with you, and yeah, enjoy your day. Another stunt toolbox rigging talk from me to you. All right, take care.